Welcome, everybody, to the Dodgy Punts podcast, Just the Tips episode, where Jesse and I we battle head to head in a tipping competition between just the two of us, which is going really well. Jesse, how did you feel about last week's tips? Were they good?
Our battle was like watching two sumo wrestlers neck deep in mud, slowly trying to kill each other.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't great. That is Jesse. My name is Liam. You can catch us on the Dodgy Punts podcast, on Spotify, on Apple, on Amazon, all that stuff at Dodgy Punts on the Instagram as well, and YouTube, where you're watching us right now, I would hope. That's where we're at. But
I don't know how else they'd be.
No.
Unless we've been like pirated.
Oh, dude, that's my dream. To be like that known that someone was actually pirating me. That's fantastic.
You wouldn't steal Dodgy Punts, just the tips.
Trust me, nobody would. Okay, so speaking of which, let's jump into what we got last week and the current running tally. Jesse, you got 3, putting you on 74. I got 2, putting me on 69. It was a weird, like, teams that should have won played like crap. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. But we're here for round number 14. We're going to do this. Well, let's get through it. Jesse, who's got the buys this week?
Who's got the buys? Well, thankfully for fans of Gold Coast, Carlton, Geelong, Essendon, Melbourne and West Coast, you could take a week off. Congratulations. Yay. Unless you wanted your team to win, in which case, I'm sorry. But, Liam, our head-to-head battle has to have a bit of tactics involved. Now, the loser of each round gets to decide whether to make the first tip or hear the first tip with an alternating structure throughout the round.
It's becoming a trend for me, isn't it? I have to choose this every bloody week. Unbelievable.
What would you like to do?
No, I'll go first.
You go first?
I'll go first.
Sounds good. And you are going first on Friday Night Football at the Gabba, Brisbane versus St Kilda. Oh, this is the Friday night game.
It's the Friday night game. Again, it's the game that the AFL at the start of the year were going to think to themselves, that game's going to be a banger. Let's chuck that on a Friday night. Everyone's here for it. Oh, man, I just realized I'm 5 tips down on you. That's horrible. Okay. I think that we spoke about this in the podcast, main. We don't want to get too excited by Brisbane winning because, it's the start they need. It's the start they need. But they're playing St Kilda. We're not a very fun team at the Gabba, which hasn't really been a strong suit or a stronghold for Brisbane at all this year. But against my better judgment, I'm still going to tip the Brisbane Lions because I think this is a game that they need to win. And this is an elimination final. Both teams need to win it. But if Brisbane don't win this, they're done. And I think they're more likely than St Kilda to make it to September. So that's why I think Brisbane, for me, are going to be the team to get the job done. Jesse.
Agree. Brisbane for me as well. They have a better list. They have a better game plan. They have slightly more premiership points. They have the home ground advantage. Tick, 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 tick. Let's move on to Saturday. Starting on Saturday morning, Western Bulldogs versus Fremantle at Marvel Stadium with a game that's become quite interesting. Yeah. This little game. I get kickoff here. I am tipping Fremantle. I think the strength of that win against Melbourne is a big tick. They have the bye. They've had the rest. Guys like Draper, Fife, who have hobbled to the bye and barely gotten there because their bodies are breaking down for various reasons. They've had the chance to replenish. The Dogs, this is exactly the type of game they win after being dreadful against Brisbane on Friday night. But they're still missing Norton and Sam Darcy. So, if anyone's going to have a good time with Roy Lobb, it's going to be Alex Pearce. So that just leaves it a big job potentially for Draper on Ugle-Hagan, which I'd actually love to see Lomua do. I'd love to see Lomua chuck Draper and Ugle-Hagan and say, go back him and go have a crack. So 100%. Fremantle for me, looking forward to this game. I didn't think this is a game I'd look forward to, but both sides have turned around their brand a bit more in the recent months. So looking forward to seeing how this goes, Liam. Are you sticking loyal with Fremantle or are you going to try to pinch one back on me here?
When was the last time Fremantle won after a bye, Jesse?
Or at Marvel Stadium, 1933.
No, we won at Marvel earlier this year. What are you talking about?
Against North. And St Kilda. So.
Thank you.
Okay, keep your hair on.
What's something coming from you, mate? This hair's going anywhere. Now, I reckon I'm going to stick with Fremantle. I'm going to go with Fremantle as well. I think I'm going to take the Melbourne performance as something that was really amazing and it was great, and I would bottle it and just put it on my wall. I'm not expecting that to happen again. But we have everything there. We have everything there to win this game. It'll be very Fremantle-like to not win this game. But I have faith. I have faith in our boys that they're going to get the job done at Marvel Stadium, Fremantle. For me, Jesse.
Fantastic. Moving on to a game that actually means nothing because it's Dustin Martin's 300th, and that's the only thing that matters. Richmond versus Hawthorn at the MCG. They're not playing for points. They're playing for Dusty. Liam, you get to kick us off here. Who are you tipping in Dusty 300? I'm not even calling it a game. It's just Dusty 300 from now on.
Dusty 300. Well, Dusty 300 is going to end with them cheering him off in amongst both of the teams who are going to be making a little guard of honour, with Hawthorn taking the 4 points and ruining Dusty's party somewhat. Jesse?
Yes, thank you. I agree. What a great tip! What great insight on Dodgy Punts After podcast.
This is going to be the most succinct and brief Just the Tips podcast we've ever done. But that's okay. Sometimes it's okay to be succinct and to the point. Is it not, Jesse?
It is. Something I struggle with demonstrably. Moving on to Saturday night. Well, it's a battle of the birds. It's a battle of the birds in the City of Churches. Why did Adelaide get 2 home games in a row when they couldn't even beat Richmond? Bizarre, weird fixturing, but we move on. Adelaide versus Sydney, Saturday night, 5:30 p.m. Bounce down WA time. I get to go first here. I want to point out, unless it's a mistake on my fixture app, Sydney are paying $1.33, Adelaide are paying $3.34. That seems like an error.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That seems like an error.
Yeah.
That's probably a mistake.
Probably $6 for Adelaide, you would
have Sydney for me, that price has actually made me giggle. If somehow Sydney had dropped points to only Richmond and Adelaide this season, that would be quite funny.
It would be hilarious. Sydney for me as well. I don't see them losing this game at all. I also realized why this might be the most straight to the point Just Tips episode ever as well, because these games, bar the last one, are pretty straightforward. Jesse, let's go to the next one, shall we?
Sunday morning, North Melbourne versus Collingwood. Both sides undefeated in the last 48 hours. What a fantastic result as these two brave West Coast conquering sides fight against each other under the bright lights of Marvel Stadium. Liam, I get to go first. No, you get to go first here. Congratulations. So why are you tipping North Melbourne this week?
You've done this to me before as well. It's quite hilarious. Well, I mean, they've just come off a massive win against the Eagles. It was a hard-fought battle, and I think, if you're going to take on one bird, you might as well take on a smaller bird and do just as well, if not better. Eagles are huge. Magpies are small and can't do anything. I know they swore. They can't do anything. So why wouldn't the Kangaroos win? It just makes perfect sense to anybody who's watched football in their life that the Kangaroos are going to win this game. Collingwood for me. I cannot wait for this game to be. If North win, it'll be fantastic. But Collingwood are gonna win.
It does make me think we should make a third opponent for next year, Liam, and that is the actual. So what if an actual kangaroo fought an actual magpie?
Oh,
that can be they can tip throughout the season.
That would.
I think that'd be quite entertaining.
Yeah, we had 0 wins. What's a docker going to be?
They don't get tactical decisions. Well, an actual docker could beat an actual swan, I would like to think, given they're a dock worker.
Can it beat lightning? The Suns would just win.
Well, yes, they'd be undefeated premiers under that metric. But you know what? If they have a good season, so does our tipping robot, actual robot.
That's true.
Look, Collingwood for me, I do think an actual magpie could swoop on an actual kangaroo in this context and get the job done. I mean, it's not really reinventing the wheel here, is it? So we will move on to potentially the only divisive game of round number 14, 15 if you count opening round. If you don't get that joke while you're watching the main pod. 2 p.m, NG Stadium in Sydney, GWS versus Port Adelaide. I'm first here, so I'm sure you'll be watching this with bated breath. I am tipping the notoriously good at travelling Port Adelaide Football Club to win at NG Stadium. I know they're not good travellers. They should have had a nice restful week coming off their bye. They're the better side. They're generally in better form. They beat Hawthorn. GWS didn't. There you go. Any justification needed beyond that? No, look, in all seriousness, Port's game style really should take it to GWS. This should be a free-flowing, entertaining game. Hopefully it's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Port, for me, have enough metal in their system to get the job done. Liam, are you taking a risk here to see if you can breach it to 4, or are you just going to play it straight down the middle?
I'm playing down the middle, Jesse.
That's fair.
I'm playing down the middle. I can't afford to lose another one this week, and I agree with you. I know. It's okay. You have to have them from time to time. I mean, most people aren't getting all of these tips, or at least 95% of them correct this week. Then something weird has happened, and we're going to be having a very interesting conversation next week on the Dodger Punts podcast. But no, I agree with everything you said. I'm not too sure that NG Stadium, the vibe that the 3,000 people who are going to rock up is going to get GWS over the line in this particular game. Port Adelaide for me as well. Jesse, that was it.
Great. We're finished.
How easy was that? The most.
I love bye weeks. Maybe I've been too harsh on the buys.
Maybe you have. That's it. Let's wrap it up, Jesse.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe, share this video with all your friends. Leave a comment who you're tipping in round 14 and some abuse as well. Love it. Bring it on. See you next week, guys.
Bye-bye.